Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Modi marks 10 years of Digital India as a decade of inclusion, access and opportunity for all. Union Cabinet clears major schemes, 3.5 crore jobs targeted via the ELI scheme, a boost for R&D and a new sports policy that aims for 2036 Olympic glory. The Thai Prime Minister, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, is suspended by the Constitutional Court of the country amid growing political turmoil and pending trial. July 1 marks the 10th anniversary of Digital India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday shared a detailed reflection on the completion of 10 years of the Digital India initiative. In a post on social media, the Prime Minister shared in a blog titled "A Decade of Digital India," he stressed that while various decades were marked by skepticism about Indians' ability to use technology, this government has changed that approach by trusting the citizens' capabilities. The Prime Minister said that when the intent is right, innovation empowers the less empowered. And the blog also stated that this belief laid the foundation for Digital India, a mission to democratize access, build an inclusive digital infrastructure and provide opportunities for all. Highlighting the progress made since 2014, the Prime Minister noted that in 2014, India had around 25 crore internet connections, and today that number has grown to over 97 crores. The Prime Minister credited the digital stack, India's digital backbone, for powering platforms like the UPI, which handles 100 plus billion transactions every year. So India's digital economy is empowering MSMEs and small entrepreneurs like never before. Digital India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has brought revolution in healthcare sector, whether it is Ayushman Bharat digital mission or e-Sanjeevani or even U-Win. It's all that platform to digitalize vaccination records. India's healthcare sector has seen significant transformation. Here's the report. The main objective of Digital India campaign is to make life easy for the masses.
जन्म प्रमाण पत्र से लेकर जीवन प्रमाण पत्र तक ऐसी सैकड़ों सुविधाएं ऑनलाइन है। बिजली पानी के बिल से लेकर अस्पतालों में अपॉइंटमेंट, बैंकों का लेन देन, पेंशन, प्रोविडेंट फंड, एडमिशन, रिजर्वेशन, करीब करीब हर सुविधा को ऑनलाइन किया गया है।
From ensuring better public health or caregiving for the elderly, the Digital India campaign has proven to be extremely effective on all fronts. As far as healthcare is concerned, Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission is exemplary for the unified health interface. Over 78 crore Ayushman Bharat health accounts have been created and over 55 crore health records have been maintained. More than 6,40,000 verified healthcare professionals are also part of this initiative.
कोरोना काल में भी हम लोगों ने इससे बहुत ही फायदा लिया था और अभी भी ये बहुत ही फायदेमंद है क्योंकि घर बैठे आप किसी भी अपनी बीमारी में उनसे सहायता ले सकते हैं.
The Digital India campaign has expanded the healthcare infrastructure. The benefits have reached the homes of the common man. E-Sanjeevani is one of the world's largest telemedicine platforms, ensuring that people can get medical consultation while sitting at home. So far, more than 37 crore patients have taken benefits from it. 56% of the beneficiaries are women and 13% are elderly. U-Win is a citizen-centric digital platform of the government that records all vaccination events of all pregnant women and children under Universal Immunization Program, UIP. Over 7.5 crore beneficiaries have been registered on this portal. Under this scheme, more than 27 crore doses have been given so far. The role of U-Win platform was unmatched in administering more than 220 crore vaccines during the COVID pandemic. Jeevan Praman is yet another example. It is a digital life certificate for pensioners that has significantly simplified the process of obtaining and submitting life certificates, reducing the need for physical presence and paperwork, bringing ease and convenience. Bureau Report, DD India. It has been 8 years since the implementation of the GST, the Goods and Services Tax, which is the country's biggest tax reform since independence. Now, after building a consensus during the Modi government's first term, GST was rolled out at midnight on the 1st of July 2017. Taking to X, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, 8 years since it was introduced, GST stands out as a landmark reform that has reshaped India's economic landscape. By reducing the compliance burden, it has greatly improved the ease of doing business, particularly for small and medium enterprises. GST has also served as a powerful engine for economic growth, while fostering true cooperative federalism by making states equal partners in this journey to integrate India's market. In the latest update, India's Finance Ministry has reported a goods and services tax collection of 184,597 crore rupees for June 2025. That reflects a 6.2% increase from 173,813 crore rupees for June of 2024. This growth underscores the resilience of India's economy and the success of GST reforms in enhancing compliance and broadening the tax base. Despite the ministry's decision to halt detailed monthly data releases, the robust figures highlight strong domestic consumption and effective tax administration. The GST, implemented on the 1st of July 2017, continues to streamline indirect taxation, supporting fiscal stability and funding essential services like healthcare and infrastructure, while promoting cooperative federalism across states. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday, approved the employment-linked incentive scheme to support employment generation, enhance employability and social security across all sectors, with special focus on manufacturing sector. Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, he announced that under the scheme, the first-time employees will get 1 month's wage up to 15,000 rupees with incentives for a period of 2 years and extended benefits for another 2 years for the manufacturing sector.
ELI will be focused on the manufacturing sector. इसके दो पार्ट, फर्स्ट टाइमर्स के लिए 1 महीने तक की सब्सिडी, 1 महीने की सैलरी के बराबर सब्सिडी अप टू अ लिमिट ऑफ मैक्सिमम 15,000 रुपीज ये दी जाएगी, जो कि 2 इंस्टॉलमेंट्स में होगी, 6 महीने और 12 महीने के बाद में दी जाएगी. इससे एम्प्लॉयर्स को, कंपनीज को, दे विल बी एनकरेज टू हायर द फर्स्ट टाइमर्स. दूसरा इसका पार्ट है जो सस्टेन्ड एम्प्लॉयमेंट देते हैं 2 साल के लिए, एवरी मंथ 3,000 रुपीज पर मंथ पर एम्प्लॉय. ये एक सपोर्ट मिलेगा. और जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्रीज हैं उसमें यही सपोर्ट 4 साल के लिए मिलेगा.
The Cabinet also approved the National Sports Policy 2025. The policy lays out a visionary and strategic roadmap to establish India as a global sporting powerhouse and a strong contender for excellence at international sporting events, including the 2036 Olympic Games.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इन 11 वर्षों में स्पोर्ट्स पे एक अलग तरीके से ध्यान देके और विशेषकर ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में जो टैलेंट है उसको आगे लाने का एक सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से आगे लाने का प्रयास किया. उसी कड़ी में ये आज स्पोर्ट्स की पॉलिसी खेलो भारत नीति बनी है. खेलो भारत नीति के मेजर ऑब्जेक्टिव रहेगा कैसे भारत 2047 तक टॉप 5 स्पोर्टिंग नेशंस में गिनती हो भारत की.
Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav unveiled Rail One on Tuesday, a revolutionary app in New Delhi, marking the 40th foundation day of the Centre for Railway Information Systems. Designed to enhance passenger experience, Rail One is a one-stop solution integrating unreserved and platform ticket booking with a 3% discount, live train tracking, grievance redressal, e-catering, porter booking and last-mile taxi services. Available on Android and iOS, it offers a user-friendly interface with single sign-on via MPIN or biometric, supporting Rail Connect and UTS credentials. While reserved tickets remain on IRCTC, Rail One, authorized by IRCTC, eliminates the need for multiple apps, saving device space and simplifying railway services for passengers. National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission completed 2 years on July 1. India launched the mission in 2023 to eliminate sickle cell disease by 2047. Over 6 crore people have been screened so far. The mission aims to screen approximately 7 crore people under the age of 40 across 17 states by 2025-26. The government has launched a nationwide deployment of affordable sickle cell anemia test kits, which aim to eliminate new cases through comprehensive screening, early diagnosis, genetic counseling as well. And sickle cell disease is an inherited blood condition. More than 50% of sickle cell anemia cases in the world arise in India. Announced by the Prime Minister in 2023, National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission is a comprehensive effort, in fact, to improve the care of all sickle cell disease patients and lower disease prevalence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin a 5 nations tour from the 2nd of July till the 9th of July. And this tour covers the countries of Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, Argentina, Brazil and Namibia. The Prime Minister will undertake the visit to Ghana from July 2nd to 3rd, that's tomorrow and day after. And this will be the Prime Minister's first ever bilateral visit to Ghana. The Prime Minister will reach Ghana on Wednesday, and that will give a huge fillip to bilateral ties, as Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
Ghana, the first sub-Saharan African nation to gain independence, has long been a beacon of stability and progress in West Africa. Formerly known as the Gold Coast, it broke free from British colonial rule in 1957, inspiring liberation movement across Africa. Now, when we look at Ghana, with gold, cocoa and now oil driving its economy, Ghana has actually transformed into one of the region's most dynamic nations. The country takes its name from the ancient Ghana Empire, a medieval trading powerhouse once upon a time. Its modern history is rich and complex, from the rise of the mighty Ashanti Kingdom in the 1700s to the British colonization and multiple Anglo-Ashanti wars. Independence came in 1957, led by Kwame Nkrumah, who helped found the non-alignment movement as well. Though Ghana faced political turbulence in the following decades, democratic stability returned in 1992 with the new constitution and multi-party election. Today, Ghana stands tall, a democratic nation with a booming youth population, thriving cultural heritage and growing global presence. The capital is Accra. The population is 32.1 million, and the languages, well, apart from English, there are 11 more local languages that's there. Ghana's journey is one of resilience, pride and promise. With camera person Rakesh and Murmu Sharma, along with my engineer Saurav, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Ghana.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will participate in the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting on Tuesday. According to the ministry, the Quad Foreign Ministers will build upon the discussions held during the last meeting, which took place in Washington on January 21 this year. The MEA is a statement, in a statement, they have said that, and I quote this, they will exchange views on regional and global developments, particularly those concerning the Indo-Pacific, and review the progress made on various Quad initiatives in the run-up to the Quad Leaders Summit, which will be hosted by India. The ministers are also expected to deliberate on new proposals aimed at advancing the shared vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific, unquote. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be hosting the Quad leaders in that summit later this year, which will bring together the U.S. President Donald Trump, the Prime Ministers Anthony Albanese of Australia and Shigeru Ishiba of Japan to India, along with Prime Minister Modi. Now, India and Pakistan on Tuesday exchanged lists of prisoners under the 2008 Consular Access Agreement in New Delhi and Islamabad. India reported 382 civilian prisoners and 81 fishermen, while Pakistan listed 53 civilian and 193 fishermen. India demanded the early release of 159 Indian prisoners who completed their sentences, consular access for 26 others, and the safety of all Indian detainees. India also urged Pakistan to verify the nationality of 80 Pakistani prisoners for repatriation. Since 2014, India has facilitated the return of 2,661 fishermen and 71 civilians, including 500 fishermen and 13 civilians since 2023, emphasizing its commitment to humanitarian resolutions. The Indian Navy's INS Tabar swiftly responded to a distress call from a Palau flagged tanker. It was a flagged tanker, MT Yicheng 6, which caught fire in the North Arabian Sea. The vessel, carrying 14 Indian crew members, reported a major engine room failure. It was a fire there and total power failure as a result, while en route from Kandla, India to Shinas in Oman. The ambassador of India to Bahrain, Vinod Jacob, attended the Jagannath Rath Yatra 2025 as a chief guest. The Rath Yatra event was organized by the Bahrain Odia Samaj in collaboration with ISKCON Bahrain. And the vibrant celebration, it showcased India's cultural traditions, bringing together the Indian diaspora and local communities in Bahrain to participate in the iconic chariot procession honoring Lord Jagannath. The event featured a grand chariot procession honoring Lord Jagannath, drawing the Indian diaspora and local communities together. Still to come here on DD India Live, the U.S. Senate Republicans endure a 19-hour vote-a-rama to advance Trump's tax cut and spending bill. U.S. President Trump lifts sanctions on Syria, reopens the path to global financial integration. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu will be visiting the White House next week.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geo.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lin. Thailand's Constitutional Court suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra on Tuesday, pending a case seeking her dismissal over a leaked phone call with Cambodia's former leader Hun Sen. Now, the court accepted a petition from 36 senators accusing her of dishonesty and breaching ethical standards, violating the constitution. The leak sparked public outrage, weakening her coalition's majority as a key party abandoned the alliance, planning a no-confidence vote. Paetongtarn apologized but vowed to serve as the Thai citizen. Now, she remains the culture minister post-reshuffle, with the Deputy Prime Minister Surya Jwangurrungwakit acting as the caretaker. The Thailand Prime Minister said that she accepts the Constitutional Court's decision to suspend her from her premiership, pending a case seeking her dismissal.
ดิฉันก็ขอน้อมรับ
The decision from the Constitutional Court is out. I respectfully accept the court's decision, and from this moment I will cease performing my duties. I do not know for how long, but there will be a 15-day period to provide clarification. I will do my best to show my true intention regarding the leaked audio clip, that my intention was 100% pure, that I did it for the nation, to protect our sovereignty, to protect the lives of the military and every soldier, and for the peace that will happen in our country. I want to apologize to people who are upset by all of this. I want to confirm again that my intention was truly for the nation. I apologize for my methods if they were not to many people's liking.
The U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday signed an executive order lifting U.S. sanctions on Syria, ending the country's isolation from the global financial system. Trump on Monday formally dismantled U.S. sanctions against Syria, hoping to reintegrate the conflict-battered country into the global economy as Israel eyes ties with its new leadership. Now, the decision follows Trump's earlier announcement, which happened in May, that he wanted to ease sanctions to help Syria rebuild after its long civil war. The White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, has said that Trump's move is aimed at creating a path to prosperity and peace for Syria. However, the order keeps in place sanctions against Syria's former President Bashar al-Assad and his close associates, as well as human rights violators, drug traffickers, ISIS members and Iranian-backed groups. The new order also, in fact, officially ends the national emergency which was declared in 2004, which had imposed sweeping sanctions on key Syrian institutions, including their central bank. Syria's foreign minister, Asad al-Shibani, he has welcomed this move. He says that it would open the door to long-awaited reconstruction and development. The United States has announced a $510 million sale to Israel of bomb guidance kits and related support. The proposed sale will enhance Israel's capability to meet current and future threats by improving its ability to defend Israel's borders, vital infrastructure and population centers. The State Department approved the possible sale, and the DSCA has approved the required notification to the U.S. Congress, which still needs to sign off on the transaction. The arms sale announcement came ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to the White House next week for talks with President Trump. It will be Netanyahu's third visit there since Trump returned to power in January. Netanyahu became the first foreign leader, in fact, to visit Trump in his second term. That happened in February, when the U.S. president surprised him also at the time by announcing a plan for taking over of Gaza. But the Israeli Prime Minister also visited once again in April, and then July 7 is going to be the next visit. And it comes after Donald Trump has been saying that he hoped for a truce in the Palestinian territory within a week. Also, Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer is due to visit the White House this week for talks to lay the groundwork for this visit of Netanyahu.
This administration is in constant communication with Israeli leadership, and the president himself speaks frequently, as you know, to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But this has been a priority for the president since he took office, to end this brutal war in Gaza. It is because of this president that humanitarian aid is being brought into the region. It's heartbreaking to see the images that have come out from both Israel and Gaza throughout this war, and the president wants to see it end. He wants to save lives. And however, the main priority for the president also remains to bring all of the hostages home out of Gaza.
The U.S. Senate Republicans pushed President Donald Trump's tax cut and spending bill in a marathon voter-rama session lasting 19 hours, going on from Monday. Now, the Senate is still in a marathon voting session, in fact, as it works to make amendments to President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This bill, estimated to be the Congressional Budget Office, has in fact estimated it's going to add $3.3 trillion to the national debt over a decade. It sparked divisions within the Republican Party. The Republicans, using a bypass for the Senate 60-vote rule, faced unified Democratic opposition and could lose 3 votes A 99-1 vote removed a 10-year federal moratorium on state AI regulation to boost innovation. Some Republicans disputed the debt estimate, arguing that tax policy extensions don't increase debt. Democrats hoped the figure would sway fiscally conservative. And the conservative Republicans also will, the Democrats are hoping that they're going to oppose the bill. Some sports news now. And India are heading into the second test against England at Edgbaston with history stacked against them. 8 matches, 7 defeats and no wins. But under the young leadership of Shubman Gill, the team is looking to bounce back from a heartbreaking loss at Leeds. Narayan Singh gives us a preview.
Sometimes in cricket, as in life, even a sky full of centuries can't chase away the storm of missed chances. Team India, under the young leadership of Shubman Gill, now stares at a mountain they have never climbed before. A test win at Edgbaston, a venue that has troubled Indian cricket for decades. India has played 8 test matches here at Edgbaston. 7 times they have walked away and defeated. Just once, way back in 1986, they managed a draw against the England side. A win, still a dream, but this team has turned dreams into reality before on multiple occasions. In the first test at Leeds, India made history, not the kind they wanted. 5 centuries, yes, 5, and still they lost. Never before a team, after scoring that many hundreds, ended up on the losing side. Dropped catches, especially 4 by Yashasvi Jaiswal, allowed this England team to claw their way back in the match. Also, there is a growing support for wrist spinner Kuldeep Yadav to come into the playing 11. But India's assistant coach Ryan Tan Dashkote dropped strong hints that Nitish Kumar Reddy and Washington Sundar have good chance of making the cut in the team. But he added that technically Bumrah is available and the management haven't made a decision whether he is going to play or not in the second test match. It will be decided in the last minute. Talking about the England side, they are going in with an unchanged squad. That means no Jofra Archer. He remains out due to some family emergency despite returning to squad after 4 long years. Expect the Edgbaston surface to live up to its reputation, pace and bounce early, especially on day 1 and 2. If the sky remains overcast, the Duke's ball will dance. Seamers will rule the morning spells and top order battles.
Okay, we are cutting across live now to President Draupadi Murmu as she is addressing the Mahayogi Gorakhnath University in Uttar Pradesh.
कुलपति डॉक्टर सुरिंदर सिंह जी, अन्य विशिष्ट अतिथिगण, देवियों और स्वजन, श्री गोरखनाथ मंदिर से निकली गौरवशाली शाखा प्रशाखाओं में से ये महायोगी गोरखनाथ विश्वविद्यालय भी शोभायमान है। मैं सबसे पहले महायोगी श्री गोरखनाथ को सादर प्रणाम करती हूँ। आज इस सभागार सहित विश्वविद्यालय की नई सुविधाओं का लोकार्पण करके मुझे बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है। मुझे आशा है कि नई एकेडमिक भवन में बेहतर सुविधाओं के उपलब्ध होने से विद्यार्थी तथा शिक्षक और अधिक उत्साहित एवं निष्ठा के साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे। मानव शरीर को दोषमुक्त बनाने में पंचक्रमों की प्रक्रिया बहुत प्रभावी सिद्ध हुई। इस क्रिया की सहायता से असाध्य रोगों के सफल उपचार के उदाहरण देखने को मिलती है। मैं आशा करती हूँ कि नई पंचक्रम केंद्र से अधिकाधिक लोग लाभान्वित हो पाएंगे। न्यू गर्ल्स हॉस्टल के भवन का शिलान्यास करके मुझे सबसे अधिक खुशी हो रही है। मैं क्लास 7 की पढ़ाई पूरी करके वर्ष 1970-71 के सेशन में 8वीं कक्षा और उससे आगे की पढ़ाई करने के लिए अपने गांव से लगभग 300 किलोमीटर दूर भुवनेश्वर गए। आज से लगभग 55 वर्ष पहले वही दूरी भी बहुत अधिक थी, क्योंकि आवागमन के साधन बहुत सीमित हुआ करता था। मुझसे पहले कई बालिका मेरे गांव से बाहर पढ़ने के लिए नहीं गए थे। सौभाग्य से भुवनेश्वर में मुझे एक गर्ल्स हॉस्टल में रहने की सुविधा मिल गई। अब तो बहुत बदलाव आ चुका है और हमारी बेटियां विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में प्रगति के नए प्रतिमान स्थापित कर रहे हैं। लेकिन आज भी अनेक बालिकाओं को उच्च शिक्षा प्राप्त करने के लिए चुनौतियों का सामना करना पड़ रहा है। बेटियों के लिए सुरक्षित आवास ना होना उनकी उच्च शिक्षा की यात्रा में अवरोध तो होता ही है, उनकी शिक्षा रोक भी सकती है। इसीलिए आपके विश्वविद्यालय द्वारा न्यू गर्ल्स हॉस्टल की स्थापना का निर्णय महिलाओं की उच्च शिक्षा को बहुत महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है। शिक्षा ही सशक्तिकरण का सबसे प्रभावी माध्यम है। इसलिए आपका ये कदम नारी सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में एक अमूल्य पहल है। इसके लिए मैं आप सबकी हृदय से सराहना करती हूँ। देवियों और स्वजनों, राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 के तहत परोपकार और जनहितैषी लक्ष्यों के लिए कार्य करने वाले निजी उच्च शिक्षण संस्थानों की महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहेगी। मुझे ये बताया गया है कि गोरखपुर और आसपास के क्षेत्र में उच्च शिक्षण के योगदान देने वाले ये पहला निजी विश्वविद्यालय है। उच्च शिक्षा को अग्रणी योगदान देने के लिए मैं गोरक्षपीठ तथा महाराणा प्रताप शिक्षा परिषद की बहुत बहुत सराहना करती हूँ। विगत 19 मई को देश में महाराणा प्रताप की जयंती मनाई गई। आज से लगभग 700 वर्षों पहले महाराणा प्रताप ने राष्ट्र गौरव के लिए त्याग और पराक्रम का जो आदर्श प्रस्तुत किया था, वो सभी देशवासियों को सदैव प्रेरित करता रहेगा। महाराणा प्रताप के आदर्श से प्रेरित सभी संस्थानों में राष्ट्र को सर्वोपरि की भावना सहज ही प्रसारित होती है, ये मेरा विश्वास है। मैं आशा करती हूँ इस विश्वविद्यालय के सभी विद्यार्थी प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन पर आधारित उत्कृष्टता प्राप्त करने के साथ साथ आध्यात्मिकता तथा राष्ट्र प्रेम के आदर्शों को अपने आचरण में ढालेंगे। ये संस्थान महंत दिग्विजयनाथ जी महाराज एवं महंत अवैधनाथ जी महाराज की परंपरा से जुड़ा हुआ है। उनकी मोहिती परंपरा के अनुरूप गोरक्षपीठ तथा महाराणा प्रताप शिक्षा परिषद से जुड़ी सभी संस्थानों के सभी व्यक्तियों को, विशेषकर युवाओं को जनसेवा, शिक्षा तथा भारत के सांस्कृतिक मूल्यों के प्रति अगाध श्रद्धा के साथ कार्य करना चाहिए। मेरे पूर्ववर्ती राष्ट्रपति माननीय श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी ने इस विश्वविद्यालय का उद्घाटन किया था। मुझे ये जानकर बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है कि केवल 4 वर्षों में आपके विश्वविद्यालय ने अपनी विकास यात्रा में प्रभावशाली उपलब्धियां हासिल की है। ये संस्थान पूर्वी उत्तर प्रदेश में उच्च शिक्षा एवं रोजगारपरक शिक्षा का प्रमुख केंद्र बन गया है। इस विकास यात्रा में उत्तर प्रदेश के यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री एवं इस विश्वविद्यालय के संस्थापक एवं कुलाधिपति योगी आदित्यनाथ जी का अमूल्य दिशा निर्देश एवं संबल आप सबको उपलब्ध रहा है। इस विश्वविद्यालय की अनेक उपलब्धियों के लिए मैं योगी जी को तथा यहाँ की पूरी टीम को हार्दिक बधाई देता हूँ। देवियों और स्वजन, इस विश्वविद्यालय के अंतर्गत संचालित मेडिकल कॉलेज तथा आयुर्वेद कॉलेज एवं चिकित्सालयों के जरिए एलोपैथी और आयुर्वेद की शिक्षा तथा चिकित्सा की व्यवस्था की गई है। इस प्रकार आप सबने चिकित्सा पद्धति को समग्रता को रेखांकित किया है। मुझे ये जानकर प्रसन्नता हुई है कि 650 बेड की सुविधाओं से युक्त श्री गोरखनाथ मेडिकल कॉलेज हॉस्पिटल एंड रिसर्च सेंटर द्वारा निकट भविष्य में ही 1800 बेड का एक नया चिकित्सालय स्थापित किया जाएगा। मुझे बताया गया है कि यहाँ के आयुर्वेद चिकित्सालय में 200 बेड की सुविधा उपलब्ध है। ये अत्यंत प्रसन्नता की बात है कि इस विश्वविद्यालय में प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन एवं चिकित्सा के अलावा कृषि अनुसंधान, ग्राम्य विकास, उद्यमिता प्रोत्साहन तथा वनस्पति अनुसंधान जैसे क्षेत्र में अनेक राष्ट्रीय एवं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संस्थानों के साथ सहयोग की दिशा में कदम बढ़ाए। मैं आशा करती हूँ कि इन प्रयासों के ठोस परिणाम निकट भविष्य में ही दिखाई देने लगेगा और जन कल्याण के काम में ये लगेगा। देवियों और सुजन, जो उत्तर प्रदेश का पूर्वांचल और अधिक स्वस्थ और सुरक्षित होगा तो पूरा उत्तर प्रदेश और तेजी से समग्र प्रगति के मार्ग पर आगे बढ़ेगा। जब देश की सबसे बड़ी आबादी वाला राज्य तेजी से विकास पथ पर आगे बढ़ेगा तो पूरा भारत प्रगति की नई प्रतिमा स्थापित करेगा। हम सब दृढ़ संकल्प के साथ विकसित भारत के निर्माण की दिशा में आगे बढ़ते रहे। इसी कामना के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद। आपके प्रेरक और दूरदर्शी।
Well, that was the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, speaking at the Gorakhnath University, the Mahayogi Guru Gorakhnath University in Uttar Pradesh, and we'll get you more about that in our subsequent bulletins. For the moment, we're taking a short break. Stay with us. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Take a front seat to witness the grandeur that is Odisha. Experience immortal spirituality and timeless architecture that perfectly reflects the artistic soul of India. Get swept by its sun-kissed beaches.
Can the U.S. launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch, Connecting the dots at these times with me, only on.
The White House has described India as a strategic ally, adding that President Donald Trump shares a very good partnership with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Negotiators from more than a dozen major U.S. trading partners are rushing to reach agreements with the United States. The White House has noted that a trade deal is close to completion. Here's the report.
U.S. President Donald Trump said Monday that he was willing to impose a higher tariff rate on Japan, blaming the salvo on Japan's refusal to accept U.S. rice exports. Trump's comments came after his top economic advisor separately signaled plans to finalize deals with other nations in coming days. Nations across the globe are scrambling to have trade deals finalized with the US before July 9th. Canada scrapped its digital services tax on US tech companies just hours before it was set to start. White House said Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney had caved to President Donald Trump, adding that every nation needs a good trade relationship with the United States.
It's very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump in the United States of America. And President Trump knows how to negotiate, and he knows that he is governing the best country and the best economy in this world, on this planet. And every country on the planet needs to have good trade relationships with the United States. And it was a mistake for Canada to vow to implement that tax. That would have hurt our tech companies here in the United States. The President made his position quite clear to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister called the President last night to let the President know that he would be dropping that tax, which is a big victory for our tech companies and our American workers here at home.
The European Union also signaled it was willing to accept a 10% universal tariff on many of its exports, but sought exemptions for pharmaceuticals, alcohol, semiconductors, and commercial aircrafts as part of the trade deal. The EU is also seeking quotas and exemptions to lower duties on autos, steel, and aluminium. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt described India as a strategic ally, adding that President Donald Trump shares a very good relationship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and noted that the trade deal is close to completion.
India remains a very strategic ally in the Asia Pacific, and the President has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Modi, as you know, and he will continue to have that.
Trump said last week that his administration would send letters to a number of countries notifying them of their higher tariff rates before July 9th, when tariff rates are scheduled to revert from a temporary 10% level to his suspended rates of 11% to 50% announced on April 2nd. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, global trade has become quite political as of the last, mostly since Donald Trump, began rocking the boat actually, and other countries started reacting. But among these countries are member states of the European Union, and they are now discussing how to organize trade in the future. And Lars Holter is now joining me from Berlin. He's with Deutsche Welle. Lars, what can you tell us about these discussions?
Thanks for having me. Well, first of all, that they apparently started at that recent G7 summit in Canada, the one that US President Trump left early. It seems once he was gone, the rest of the government leaders got together to discuss how to work together in the age of Trump. So this is for now what they came up with. It seems that the EU, under leadership of Ursula von der Leyen, wants to move closer to the group of countries that have signed on to the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, a CPTPP for short. Those countries are Australia and New Zealand, then Canada, Mexico, Chile and Peru, Japan, and the Southeast Asian states of Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore and Vietnam. Now, those countries together stand for just under 15% of global GDP. The EU has almost 18%. And the bloc here wants to work together with the Pacific states to, and I quote, to prove to the world that free trade with a large number of countries remains possible on a rules-based concept. Now, there have not been any negotiations yet, and there's really not that much out in terms of details. But we are hearing, even from German Chancellor Friedrich Merz now, that the new partnership could end up being so mighty and so powerful that it could sideline and eventually even replace the World Trade Organization, the WTO.
But Lars, why are they actually trying to reinvent global trade?
Well, you could say that recent developments haven't allowed for any other option. Currently, global trade is obviously dominated by two players, the US and China. But what we've been seeing from these two countries has not been a rule-based approach for a long time. Let's start with the US under Trump. They just single-handedly destroyed all trust anyone ever had in that country by ripping up every trade deal they had, putting tariffs on all sorts of countries, most of them appearing to be random. Also, the US has been blocking important positions in the World Trade Organization to be filled, leaving that body pretty much powerless. So now, instead of working through the pretty much defunct WTO on trade conflicts, they're punishing other countries at will with tariffs and other measures. And so does China, currently by withholding rare earth materials, for example. All in all, global trade has become messy, and many countries, now that's pretty much everyone else out there besides the US and China, is rather fearful that global trade will no longer be rules-based, but descend into some kind of anarchy, and that would hurt major countries like those within the EU just as much as smaller countries.
Lars Holter in Berlin, thanks very much. And for the first time, 35 Hindi teachers from Sri Lankan government schools, they embarked on a transformative training program at the Kendriya Hindi Sanstha, which is in Agra. And it was organized, in fact, by the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Colombo, and the KHS. This initiative, supported by the Sri Lankan Ministry of Education, aims to enhance Hindi teaching skills and deepen cultural ties. The High Commissioner, Santosh Jha, met the leaders, the teachers there, and he wished them success. The program includes visits to Agra, Delhi, Jaipur, Varanasi, Mathura, Vrindavan, and Fatehpur Sikri, enriching their cultural understanding and use of Hindi. Now, weather updates from around the world. In India, the monsoon has wreaked havoc in the northern state of Himachal Pradesh. In the past 48 hours, torrential rains wreaked havoc in Mandi. In fact, the villages in the district have been completely washed away. Two cloudbursts have occurred in Karsog area. According to a report by the administration, 4 deaths have been reported in the district in the past 24 hours. 16 people are still missing, and 99 people have been rescued. The NDRF and SDRF teams are engaged in relief and rescue operations. NH5 is still closed because of continuous landslides. The Met Department has issued an alert of heavy rain and flash floods at various districts. This is for the next 48 hours. And while India is experiencing a monsoon season, other parts of the world are grappling with extreme heat waves, highlighting the impact of climate change. So in the United Kingdom, hot weather continues across the southeast of the country. Temperatures touched 34 degrees Celsius on Tuesday, even higher than what Delhi is currently. But authorities issued heat wave alerts and health alerts in 7 areas in England. And Paris also woke up to a sunny day. The temperature on Tuesday in France put the country on the health alert because of the heat. Amid the heat wave in Europe, health alerts have been issued also by Spain, Italy, Portugal, and Germany. Some sports news now, and Real Madrid, they are set to clash with Juventus in the round of 16 in the FIFA Club World Cup. This is on July 1. Javi Alonso's men, they are going to be, they have ended the group stage at the top of Group H with 7 points, and they are holding on to an unbeaten record across 3 games. Los Blancos, they will be filled with confidence after their dominant victory over the Austrian side FC Salzburg. And they in fact won 3-0 in their last group stage match, thanks to goals from Vinicius Jr. and Federico Valverde, as well as La Fabrica, the striker Glober Gonzalez Garcia. And ahead of the crucial battle against the Italian giants Madrid, they have confirmed the return of Kylian Mbappe. The France international, who was sidelined for 3 group stage games through illness, will now take up his boots and he's going to play in the round of 16. Though it would be surprising to see him start, some people are saying. Fluminense, they've sent Inter Milan packing from the Club World Cup with a 2-0 win in Charlotte that took the Brazilian side through to the quarterfinals. The German Cano's header, and that was from close range. It gave Fluminense, what did it do? It gave them an early lead in their last 16 tie, and they then withstood the onslaught from the Italian side in the second half before substitute Hercules had sealed their victory. This is a Rio de Janeiro side, and it became the second Brazilian side to make the last 8 after Palmeiras had done so. They had already sealed their quarterfinal spot. So what's happening is that there was another encounter, and this was Marcos Leonardo, who scored his second goal of the match in the extra time, and he gave Al Hilal a 4-3 upset victory over Manchester City in Orlando and sent the Saudi Arabian side into the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup. Malkin and Khalidou, they also scored for Al Hilal, who got 10 saves from the goalkeeper Yassine Bounou. And Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland and Phil Foden, they were goal scorers for Manchester City. Al Hilal will meet Fluminense in the quarterfinal clash on Friday at Orlando. Well, cricket in Indonesia is gaining popularity, and that's on the national scale. In fact, the Indian expat community is doing its bit as well to promote the game, naturally, and also to build local talent. Our correspondent Chandni Vasandani is reporting.
Cricket is not the first sport that comes to mind when you think of Indonesia. The country is better known for its love of football, basketball, and world-class badminton champions. But over the last few decades, cricket has been quietly gaining ground on fields like this one. Indonesia's cricket journey began more than 30 years ago, when members of the Indian expat community formed what is now known as the Jakarta Cricket Association. The community has now grown to hundreds of players.
Started back in early 90s. That's where there were a bunch of expats playing cricket out of passion, out of love for the game. And 1992 is when it was formally established in the form of a association where players would be formalized and introduced into the league, and we had a trophy to play for. So virtually, I would say 13 teams times a pool of 20 for each team. We are looking close to a number of between 250 to 300 players who are actively involved in the game.
What began as a social sport among professionals who found themselves working in Indonesia has now evolved into something more inclusive. Local Indonesians are not just watching, they are playing and winning. Helping drive this momentum is the Indonesian Cricket Association.
Yeah, currently the interest of cricket in Indonesia is growing very rapidly, and as we are aware, there is about 200,000 local cricketers in 21 provinces, which is already acknowledged by the International Cricket Council, and makes Indonesia one of the most rapid cricket developing countries from the associates in the East Asia Pacific region.
The results speak for themselves. The Indonesian men and women cricket teams nabbed a gold, 2 silvers and a bronze at the 2023 Southeast Asian Games. And now some players are setting their sights higher.
So this is, I think, the best time, the best part, and before I get retired. So I hope I can win at least this AAP championship for Indonesia.
With strong national teams, the country is now aiming for an Olympic participation. With grassroots support, school programs, and growing national pride, cricket is now firmly part of Indonesia's sporting landscape. From Jakarta, Indonesia, this is Chandni Vasandani for DD India.
Clean bowled there. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, You can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. Thank you very much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.